The following program is sponsored by The Greek, Ely's Radio Shack dealer at 570 Altman in downtown Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Georgetown Media in Ely, Nevada. Ely Municipal Utility Board meeting, June 10th, 2021.
I'd like to call the meeting order of the Ely Municipal Utility Board, June 10th, 1921. Please follow me in pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Chairman O'Flaherty.
Here.
Member Del Durbridge.
Present.
Member Ross.
Present.
Member Lilly.
Present.
Councilman Carson.
Here.
City Clerk Lee. Here. City Treasurer, HR Director Trask. Here. Public Works Supervisor Craycraft.
Here.
And City Attorney Manueli is on by Zoom, and that's all.
Thank you. Public comment. Comments not exceeding 3 minutes in length can be accepted from the general public in attendance. If any are made, there may be discussion upon those comments. No vote, decision, or action may be taken upon the matter raised under this item until it's formally placed on the agenda. As per comments during discussion, item will not be accepted except in the general public as per section 705 of the Nevada Open Meeting Law. Any public comment? George, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to present a photocopy of the concern that I have on my property located on Great Basin Boulevard. 2 sewer connections were put on one property when I have 2 different separate properties. I shouldn't say I have. My brother has one, I have the other. In order to access sewer, I have to come down 35 feet to cross the other property. If it's sold by my brother, I have to tell the new owner, I'm going to cut 35 feet of your driveway to access my sewer line. That's wrong. I want to be treated like everybody else, the same with my brother. Mr. Chairman, I have a letter here from my brother John Chachis regarding concern with tenants in different areas of central Ely because of horses and stagnant water, and I'll present the letter. I want to read into the record along with some photos that were submitted. Also a letter dated August 16, 2006, when former Clerk Treasurer Allworth cited me for having some goats on a piece of property that I had in that same area. And he cited the City Code Chapter 3, Section 538. But it appears that there's selective enforcement now from 2006. And I'll present that to you for to be read in the record. But not on my time, please. Mr. Chairman, the billing for my property located at 490 High Street has not been corrected to date. I paid for the landfill billing for all of the time that I had the property, including the penalties. You have treated others differently and removed their penalties and interest. I have been diligent in telling you of the discrepancies, yet you continue to misbill me. My most recent bill is for $1,472, yet I pay every month. The city has not given me any documentation, any documented itemized credits toward the account, especially my first billing dated February 28, 2018, in the amount of $700.66.99, when the water had never been turned on, and on that bill was $746.65 for an outside water capital improvement when there's no such thing. This is just pure harassment, plain discrimination. There's nothing documented that it was ever taken off, and now I'm at $1,400 and some dollars. Baloney. I paid that. It needs to be corrected. Mr. Chairman, in regards to that, I've been diligent. I want to bring your attention to a article out of the newspaper April 16, 2008, in which the council waived fees for the Nevada Northern Railway water and sewer connections. I never had the water turned on at 490. I paid what was due, and yet you're giving away thousands of dollars to an entity there. In a letter dated August 5th, 2009, a citizen asked if Jim Allworth's business was legal, whether he paid landfill fees. Still no answer. August 2009. Let's treat everybody the same. and quit harassing a few individuals. Mr. Chairman, at previous meetings, I reported that numerous RVs, possibly squatters, were setting up throughout the city.
Thanks.
I'll be back. You gotta give me more time, Mr. Chairman. I'm not getting any answers, and the frustration is getting to be a little too much.
Thank you, George.
I'd like you to read that letter to the record, please.
Okay, we'll move on to item 3, consent agenda. These items may be approved in one motion by the board as its first action. Business under for discussion, possible action item. Approval for the consent agenda approves each of these items. Board members may remove any item from the consent agenda by notifying the board chair. We have a motion to move to approve the consent agenda 3A-1 bill for minutes of May 13, 2020.
I move.
We have a motion.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Moving on to old business. Board member, Robinson Nevada Mine Company, RMNC representative. Discussion only, update to the utility board on the Robinson Nevada development, root development, and water mitigation efforts within the city.
Chairman O'Flaherty, Frederick Cartier, the environmental manager for RMC, emailed this to me last night. I will not be able to attend tomorrow morning's utility board meeting. I am by this email providing an update on old business item B1, root development and water mitigation efforts within the city of Ely. Robinson continues to mine from the root pit complex. Here is a breakdown of freshwater dewatering effort from the south block. One, about 11,969 gallons per minute is being pumped. RW7P accounts for 1,515 gallons per minute, which is sent to the city of Ely. Two, about 5,472 gallons per minute is going into Gleason Creek. Three, the rest is going to the mill for ore processing. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, Frederick.
Thank you, Jennifer. Any questions in reference to Frederick's letter? Very good. Public comment? No public comment. We move on to new business. Councilman Carson, discussion for possible action. Recommendation of approval to waive commercial fees to deposit metal at the city landfill June 12, 2021 through June 20th, 2021 to encourage commercial property owners to clean up their property. Kurt.
Yeah, thank you. So we did do this last year for about a week too, and I do know of a couple commercial property owners that did take advantage of it, so I'd like to do it again this year, and hopefully it helps, so that's about all I have on that.
So why do you even charge people to take metal up there when we turn around and
And
sell
sell it.
it? So you can take, I mean, you can take it to J&M Trucking and they don't charge you and they do the same thing. So why, to me, it seems the city counterproductive to charge people.
Yes, it does, and I was kind of thinking about that last night, and it's something to look into and see, try to justify why we do charge for it and see what the reasoning is behind that.
Greed.
Maybe, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, that would be.
Well, yeah, that's always been a concern of mine too. It's just, it doesn't seem, I'm sure it would be beneficial to the city to have more metal.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
Especially right now where your price is up a little bit. So.
Yeah.
So I'll do some research on that, and maybe have a report next one on that.
But this pertains to metal only, not tires.
Metal, yeah, yes.
Very good.
I'll move that we approve.
We've got a motion on the floor to approve discussion for the metal fees and deposit at the landfill. We have a second.
I'll second.
We have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public comment.
Mr. Chairman, I wish you'd allow public comment prior to taking to the vote. I think this is a good thing, but you should also include it for everyone, including private individuals. If you want them to clean up their yard and are worried about having to pay at the gate, you got to treat everybody fairly, equally, and you're not doing that. When the landfill rates were set, even during the time when I was mayor, the fee was set, so there was no excuse for not taking anything to the dump. That included metal, old refrigerators, couches, whatever. And now we're nickel and diming the public and you're having a problem. The problem is City Hall and it needs to change. The fee is flat, so there's no excuse for not taking anything to the dump. So when you're considering giving an edge to the commercial properties, you're discriminating against the private owner, the citizen. You need to stop that. I'd ask that you open this up again and include the private sector as well, not just the commercial.
Point well taken.
Chairman O'Flaherty, private individuals are not
I-
charged.
Thank you. I can't remember being charged for it, but I take it. So that problem is moot.
Point of clarification, do you understand that,
No,
George?
no. What was that again?
Private citizens do not get charged
For metal?
Metal.
You take a car up there, you're not charged. If you take a refrigerator up there,
No,
a
sir.
washer, well, that's wrong. You better check because some people are being charged.
I think there's.
It's selective.
Yeah, they're not. I know for refrigeration, if a private individual takes it up there, then they receive that at no charge. If a commercial entity takes it up there, then they charge it for the refrigerator.
Rick Stork wanted to charge me when they had the green up program.
Yeah.
Now that's selective.
Well, I can't help you on that one, George.
Well,
We've clarified this.
Moving on
Thank
to
you.
you need to open it up.
board members, city clerk Lee, discussion for possible action, recommendation for approval to remove past due utility fee penalties up to the amount of $7,929.66 due to landfill balance and lien fees being paid in full from 25 East 7th North, London, Nevada, as requested by property owner Deanna Harrison.
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty much.
The agenda wording says it all.
Yep. That's good, that's a good recovery.
Yes, it is.
We have a motion,
I move.
a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public comment? See, George, you get more than 3 minutes.
It's gonna be less than that, George.
3.
On this here, I don't have a problem with those folks getting that kind of consideration, but you're not giving me the same opportunity at 490. I paid in full. You guys owe me credit. I paid the penalties, the interest, and you're still billing me, misbilling me for up to $1,400. That needs to stop. Stop the discrimination.
Thank you, George. Board member, number 3, board member, city clerk Lee, discussion for possible action. Recommendation of approval to remove landfill fees and penalties in the amount of $1,920.64 from 89 West, 1st South London, Nevada, in White Bank County Assessors. Designation of the service address as a non-livable structure since October 2017, and or approval to remove past due utility fee penalties up to an amount of $418.42 due to lien fees and landfill balance occurred prior to October 2017 being paid. I see that's quite a paper trail.
It is. Basically, we've had requests from the council that non-livable structure credits be reviewed. So just like this board and the council to review those. And then as the agenda item states, they did pay the landfill fee, penalties, and lien fee prior to October 2017.
I move we approve this.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I'm not against this, but you're, again, selectively enforcing the law. For years I paid, got empty lots, I was charged landfill, I paid it. Out came the ruling that if there's no structure on there, you don't pay. I've yet to receive any refund or interest on my money. Just recently, Bob Pratt came before you. He had a garage on the property. He asked for a waiver at the last meeting, the last city council meeting. Jim Albers says, no, you could probably live in there. The man never got the same consideration. That's discrimination. This is a house. The fact that it needs repair is immaterial. They should have paid the fees in full. If you give them a waiver for paying under these particular regulations, fine. But it is a house where Mr. Pratt had a garage. That's all. There was no house there. I paid on empty lots. I want my money back. I want Mr. Pratt treated fairly also. Stop the discrimination. We got people up in City Hall that don't know what the heck they're doing. It needs to stop, John. You've been here long enough.
Very good. Moving on to item 4, city department reports. Board members.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing, sir.
I have nothing to report. Councilman Carson.
No report?
City public works supervisor, we have a written report. Anything else you'd like to come on? Thanks, Mike.
I just want to recognize that our assistant at the wastewater treatment plant, Mario Gonzalez, from the Nevada Water Association, was the operator of the year.
Nice. Very
So,
good.
yeah, he's a great asset to the city.
It sounds like you're doing pretty good on the restroom facility, Warner County Park.
Yep.
Right along.
Moving right along, almost there.
Park looks good.
It's good.
Had graduation there last night, looked nice.
Was you there?
Good. Good. City water operator, we have his written report. Landfill operator, we have his written report. I see we have a new individual hired, that's good. Water and sewer leadman, we have his report. City clerk.
I just want to note that the city did receive the letter that Mr. Chachas referred to in his opening public comment. Mosquito abatement is not under the purview of this board, but I have been working on that request along with Mayor Robertson.
Very good, thank you.
And also, I attended the CDBG application workshop. It was brought to our attention again that Ely is 39% LMI currently. So in order for us to apply for a CDBG grant next year, we would have to have a survey done in the area where the grant would be taking place. So if you have preferences of projects, if you could let me know, and then we'll start looking at which one we want to ask Nevada Rural Water to do a survey for. I'm not sure how much lead time they need ideally, but we would request that after the council selects the project. But
Does this pertain just to sewer and water, or any?
Anything.
Anything?
any CDB project.
Okay.
Yeah. And we should know next week, we should be able to apply for the Green grant again. My understanding is that opens up next week, so that'll be good. So hopefully we'll get forward to that.
Fantastic, good, very good. City treasurer. City attorney's gone. City engineer. Let's see if you can walk this good next month.
No problem. We got some stuff into, we're working with the lobbyist border group to try to find some funding for infrastructure. We just got our stuff in and it went into the Senate office, and I think not next week, but the following week, we have a Zoom meeting set up with one of the senator's office to present our stuff to them to hopefully be included in a future bill. We're Alma Street, most of our improvements are complete on Alma Street. This project that's going on, the thing that we're doing now is they're building the storm drain system, and it's crossing our water and sewer as it builds up through Central Ely down there. And in fact, we're down there working with them right now. They're making they got to make a temporary jump on our water because they can't get their trench plate through with the water going through there with their box culvert and everything else. And so there'll be just some coordination going on through there, but that project is, hopefully the next is winding down as far as our involvement, other than now when they're starting to cross some of our water and sewer with this storm drain system. Our sewer project is getting close to being wrapped up here. We got about 50 feet to go, a couple services, and so hopefully, another 2 or 3 days, hopefully we'll get that thing wrapped up and get cleaned up. Myself and the chairman did go out and meet with the hydrologist from that RMC sent down to look at the golf course well, see if they can assist the county with their golf course well down there. I just received that report back late yesterday afternoon. I didn't get a chance to look at it yet. I'll forward it on to everybody. But they're coming requesting that we just kind of get together, I guess we can analyze this report and see what maybe the next steps are for them to be able to assist the golf course. So they're scheduling something for Friday. And so the chairman and myself will attend and see where we can go with that well from here.
And then George had some concerns, BJ, on some of the property services.
Big ones.
On what?
Just
On my
a point
sewer
on
connections. I'll show you a
the
picture.
MDOT project.
On
He
7th
has
Street.
some services going to his property next to,
Washington.
Behind Washington Federal.
yeah, Washington Federal.
Yeah.
But just a point of clarification, I understand, is it the sewer off of Bell Avenue? On Main
no,
Street there?
No, I'm not sure why he's asking the question, because we had this conversation with him, because I was on site that day when they were providing sewer service to those lots. So,
Is there sewer on Main Street or on Great Basin Boulevard right there? There isn't.
no, they crossed, yeah, there is, there's sewer there. They crossed, yeah, that storm drain system is going up through there across that sewer. And so that's why on my memory, because we had to coordinate with them, because they have conflicts, and so we coordinated conflict through there, stubbing it over to these lots.
Okay, so you addressed it then?
Yes.
Okay.
You have 2 sewer connections in front of one lot and nothing in front of the other lot.
So,
It's got to move up.
any questions?
No,
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you. Last public comment, George.
Mr. Chairman, previous numerous meetings I reported that RVs, possibly squads were setting up throughout the city. I want to know how many of them you've built. I've given you pictures. I want to also remind you of a letter that I got from Brad Christensen May 2nd, 2019 regarding the RV I had on my property. I had to evict the person. I'm the only one that got 2 citations, yet they're setting up throughout the city. Throughout the city. You're not collecting the fees. That's malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance on all you guys' part, and especially the staff. Why are you coming after me and yet you're allowing others to use their property? You've got Keith Garson, who's got RVs on his, and he's stacking them 2 units on 1 lot in violation of the fire code. How many times I got to tell you guys that? Mr. Chairman, on numerous occasions I've asked, and to date I've not received an answer in regards to Avenue A. Did the city purchase the property? Do you have a map showing what was purchased and how much was paid? Did the city install a utility on private property? I think they did. If not, show me the difference. Mr. Chairman, at your meeting held on April 8, 2021, I asked if the county golf course had paid their bill, their water bill in full at the same rate as other entities. I've not gotten an answer. I want to remind you, federal law mandate states that you cannot discriminate in any federally funded or assisted utility. The golf course is looking for a sweetheart deal. You have yet to reimburse me for the sewer problem that I fixed at 681 Parker Avenue. The drainage was improper. Now, with what I paid and the interest that I'm charging you folks, you're at $8,574.63. You have yet to pay me. I want to remind you, you paid for an upgrade for a private contractor or property owner, $60,000 or somewhere in that neighborhood for a water line across his property when it was his responsibility. The sewer line I pay every month. You should have taken care of that problem. Had it been broken on my side, I was ready to repair that and I wouldn't have presented that bill to you. But that wasn't the case. I want my money back, John. I want to be treated just like everybody else. And the city's not doing that, and neither is this board. Did the golf course ever pay for the 111 million gallons of water they used, Mr. Chairman? Any penalties, interest collected? I'd like to know that. Mr. Chairman, did the city notify Mount Wheeler Power that they may have to move some of their power lines on Murray Street in the blocks where the new water and sewer lines are being installed? In some areas, proper minimum ADA passage is not available, and if one is in a wheelchair, it makes it impossible to pass. I haven't seen any poles missing, and you have an ADA compliance problem on that property. Can I get an answer?
Thank you.
Anything in writing, John?
Thank you.
Paint me a picture.
Thank you. Very good. Next meeting? July 8th. Thank everybody for attending today. That stand adjourned.
This has been a Georgetown production. George Chatchis reporting.